Over the past month, Tesla stock has taken a tumble, and it has led many investors wondering, what's gonna happen? Where's the next catalyst? What can I do? Should I continue buying Tesla stock? Should I hold? And I totally understand. Some of us have stronger diamond hands than others. Others are just casually coming into the stock right now because we have record numbers of brand new investors that we never had before. But there is one major thing that we need to watch out as investors, and that is the Tesla's Q1 numbers. Now in this video, I'm hoping to discuss a little bit of what we can expect for the first quarter of 2021 for Tesla. And if this is something that you're interested on and this is your first time watching the channel, consider subscribing to Electric Invest and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. And with that being said, let's begin. So first and foremost, I want to talk a little bit about Tesla stock. I'm assuming that by now most of you have already heard the semiconductor shortage that was affecting automakers all around the world. It is something that is pretty serious, and it is something that I cannot deny it has definitely been a factor that has led Tesla stock to go down. But the other EV company that got affected the worst happened to be NIO, in which we saw that it went down to around $34, $35 a share. And it ended up affecting NIO so much that it led NIO to actually put a hold in production just for a few days. But for Tesla specifically, the fear was transcended, and all across of the EV sector, even if Tesla has not even said that they're being affected by this semiconductor shortage, we're just going to be fearful and pull our money out of the stock market, which is it's just mind-blowing to me. It doesn't make sense. But at the same time, Tesla also rebounded over 11% yesterday, and today it has been rebounding quite a bit. But I do want to add this when it comes to the semiconductor issue. You see, when it comes to semiconductor suppliers, they tend to live and die based on the demand, and if you give me a moment, I will explain as quick as possible. You see, when it comes to the suppliers, they need to make sure that they produce as close as possible to the actual units that they're going to be selling. They cannot be having some semiconductors that didn't get sold, and they cannot be underproducing. And with the constant rise of EVs being introduced into the market, it's becoming more apparent that the demand for semiconductors is very, very high. So any miscalculation there can cause a temporary shortage. And the only reason why I'm giving you guys this explanation is because I'm pretty sure you're gonna see it once more. Oh, semiconductor shortage, less and less and less common as they continue to assess better and better how many units they need to do, especially if they start working closer with automakers and companies, just to get a better idea. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video, what we can expect from Tesla's first quarter deliveries. Now, in the beginning, I do want to allow myself to introduce what I expect from Tesla's first quarter deliveries. These are just assumptions that I have based on the numbers that I personally think that Tesla is going to achieve, and then later on we can make a comparison, between what we expect from Wallstreet's estimation on the first quarter numbers. If we take a look over here, we see that Tesla ended up doing 180,000 units in Q4. And just by taking a look into the earnings call, we saw that Tesla was giving us a production ramp up of 500,000 Model 3s and Model Ys from the Fremont factory in California. And just taking those numbers as an example, if we divide it by 4, we get a number of 125,000 vehicle units per quarter. Now, because these are production units, and I already know you guys in the comment section are gonna be like, come on dude, I mean, this is just production. Productions are not the same as deliveries. I got you. So I'm going to actually be deducting 10% from this number. Although Tesla is production constrained, and this is something that some analysts cannot grasp. Gordon Johnson over here.
Just look at the facts, right? I think it's clear now that Tesla has a demand problem.
They do eventually end up selling every car they produce, just not right away. Just taking a look into the deliveries, we know that Teslas are usually anywhere from 2 to 8 weeks in advance. Just a disclaimer that I wanted to give you guys before I continue. With 10% reduction, that gives us 112,500 Model 3s and Model Ys that we can play around with. Now, the Giga Berlin and Giga Texas are still not made yet, so we cannot count those. There's only one other factory that we can count, and that is the one in Shanghai. So, pulling up this article from last month from Tesla Ready, in which we were able to see that from their sources, they saw that Tesla sold 15,484 units in January, but Tesla ended up having an increase of 18% in February, of a total production of 23,632 units. That gives us a total of 39,116 January and February together. But keep in mind, February is only 28 days long. It's the shortest month of the year. So the rest are going to be accounted once the report in March comes out, which it hasn't come out yet. We still don't have any numbers for March. But here's the thing, and if you give me some time, I'm gonna promise that I'm gonna land into something real quick. And if we assume that in March, the production doesn't increase, it just stays stagnant, exactly the same way that it was in February. By dividing 23,632 by 28 days, we get 844. Now, 844 Model Ys and Model 3 units per day in March would translate to 26,164. To the 39,116 units, that would be 65,280. Now keep in mind that the Model Y is starting to ramp up and it is starting to be quite very popular. Matter of fact, if you guys take a look into this footage from the very first sales of the Model Y, people were actually flooding the stores in China.
对，他肯定要上。
And as it turns out, pretty much around the world, including in China, SUVs are actually more popular than sedans, and if history tends to repeat, which it does, we can estimate that the ramp up for the Model Y is actually going to be even more significant. But even if we don't, my expectations for the first quarter deliveries are gonna be more around the ballpark of a total of 177,780 Model Ys and Model 3s. I still think this is a little conservative because it could be more in the ballpark of 180. But these are just my estimations. Now, what about the Model X and Model S? Well, I'm not counting them specifically because of the reasoning that they had a lot of delays happening lately, as well as the fact that they had a refresh very, very recently, and the numbers are probably going to be very, very low enough that I'm not counting them myself. But even if we do end up seeing that they did a few thousand of them, then what would happen is it would solidify my assumption of about 180,000 units. With that being said, this is just my estimation. Maybe you guys can tell me in the comment section below what you guys think. Maybe you guys have some different assumptions that I wasn't able to see. Maybe you guys can tell me better numbers that equate to a better calculation that you guys have made. I want to move on and compare it to the estimations from the market and how they differ from my own estimation. There are already some analysts on Wall Street that are expecting Tesla to actually beat expectations. Now let's talk a little bit about those expectations right now. Now when we take a look over here on this article from Benzinga, they go on saying that the expectation is that Tesla is going to hit 170,000 units in the first quarter, and it would suggest an increase of 92% year over year compared to the first quarter of 2020. And they go on saying that one analyst from RBC is putting out estimates of 164,800 Model 3s and Model Y deliveries with 5,300 Model S and Model X deliveries. And if we compare this with another Tesla analyst, Dan Ives from Wedbush, and he's maintaining his expected $950 a share and maintains a neutral rating on Tesla, which in my opinion tends to be a little bit conservative, but more on that later. And in his thesis that he published on Tuesday, he updated his delivery model in which it reflects an increased confidence in the first half of this year. And for the first quarter in 2021, they ended up raising their Model 3 and Model Y estimates to 160,000 units from 132 units. And for the Model S and Model X, they also ended up raising their estimates from 14,000 from the previous 12,500, basically saying that they expect Tesla to beat the expectations from Wall Street at a total of 174,000 units. Again, pretty close to the numbers that I estimated, but he's actually estimating Model X and Model S. So it's pretty interesting to see the differences between what I think and what they think. And this is exactly why I want to see some of the comments for you guys on what you guys think. Because the general expectation from a lot of the Tesla bulls, as well as many other Tesla analysts that are covering Tesla, is that Tesla is going to be actually beating the expectations. There's a lot of bullishness in the market right now, especially because people want to take advantage of these dips. I took advantage of these dips. I've been loading up on this stock like crazy. I can't even hide it. I'm pretty happy about that. And I even had some limit buys at 589, but they did not go through. Yesterday when Tesla stock ended up going down a little bit, I thought that it was going to hit it. But nonetheless, the stock is looking pretty strong today. But I do want to remind you guys that his $950 a share estimation is at least towards the end of 2021. It is not necessarily that it's going to go up like that next month or anything. But the good thing about it is he is estimating estimating that Tesla is going to achieve 130,000 units by the end of 2021. I'm expecting that Tesla is going to be more in line to 1 million units. And that is only because obviously we know that Tesla in Giga Shanghai is still ramping up and will continue to go towards the 250,000 capacity. Not only that, we have the Giga Berlin, which is going to become a tremendously humongous player when it comes to the deliveries in 2021. We know the Model Y and the Model 3 are tremendously popular in Europe, and a lot of people have been holding on to buying Model Ys and Model 3s due to the fact that they have to pay so much more money in additional taxes due to the exportations overseas from the United States. So the explosion of the Model Y and the Model 3 are going to be significant in Giga Berlin, in my opinion. And not to mention the Gigafactory in Texas, which is where, we're going to be seeing potentially the Cybertruck. Maybe in small tiny units at the end of the year, I don't know, we'll see. But definitely the Model Ys, Model 3s, and the Tesla Semi, which we recently right now just heard that Tesla is going to be aiming at low production this year of 5 semis per week, which is also going to be contributing to the deliveries of 2021. Remember that the Semi is a humongous monster and the margins are going to be crazy. But I'm not going to get too deep into that. This video was centered into the deliveries of the vehicles, what we can expect, what my expectations are, what a couple of analysts on Wall Street are expecting, and just have a little bit of an exercise of what we can expect. I would love to know your opinions, what you guys think on whether or not Tesla is going to achieve the 830,000 units from Wedbush or the 1 million that I'm expecting, or if you think that Tesla is going to achieve even more than 1 million. And if you have watched up until this point and you like the video but you haven't subscribed yet, consider subscribing to Electric Invest so you don't miss videos like this. And with that being said, I'll see you guys on the next one.